What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, first off, happy anniversary guys. For all of you guys who've been playing for a year, this video might not do very much for you. For the rest of you guys who are brand new or returning, this is all about you guys right now. And we're going to talk a little bit about a brand new return player and a brand new player guide for those who are just joining SLA and everything that's coming along with the 1 year anniversary. So a lot has changed along the way. We're going to do a quick little breakdown of everything you should focus on, things that are going to help you start the game off on the right step. Also, everything that will help you guys kind of get to the new end game content that's coming out. So without further ado, guys, let's start that. Now, before I go any further, one thing every new and returning player should do is come and join the support program. Very, very important. The support program is alive and well. Content creator programs, we as content creators, if you support us, we'll send you guys codes, which gives you free currency such as essence stones, mana power extracts, tickets, etc. So if you have not done so, this will be in the link of every single video plus comment, and it's always pinned. Click that support button if you're new or returning or just want to support me. I will send you guys codes whenever the codes are available, and I've never missed one for the whole 9 seasons. So make sure you click that button. That is step number 1. That will get you guys free codes every single season, and that will help you also advance your account. Now, let's talk a little bit about the basic stuff. First off, what teams you should focus on. So when you start playing the game, your main focus is going to be going through story mode as much as you possibly can and as quick as you can. All right. So the first thing you want to do, guys, is go through normal story mode as fast as you can until you unlock hard mode. Then focus on hard mode. Go as far as you can. When you get level capped, you're going to eventually start needing to do other things. Always do your gates. So story mode is your main focus. Once you're capped, your gates are the next thing. Now, I will say this, and I've never said this before in any other beginner video, but now that we've discovered it, once you do all 10 of your gates and you're done, always spend a little bit of essence stones to refresh at least twice a day. That's right. It might sound like a lot, but it's absolutely worth it, and we'll explain the reason why. Number 1, amazing for resources. They've also increased the amount of EXP you get from dungeons by 1.5 times, so you're gonna get EXP a lot faster. Not to mention your shadow army, which we'll talk about later, is your main source of power, and I've made a whole video on this, and this is the best place to get a lot of resources for your shadow army. Okay, so gates always refresh at least at the very minimum once or twice. Minimum every single day. Use it. It'll make you so much stronger in the end game, in the long run. It's critical that you do all of your gates every single day, guys. Don't ever miss that. Also, when you are doing this as well too, don't forget to mine your gates. Now, if you do A and S rank gates, you'll also get a couple essence stones along the way. But if you want to go through it just quickly, you guys can do all of your gates by using B and below if you're free to play, or if you're a pay to win player and you buy the subscription, you get 10 free sweeps of your A and S's. So A and S rank gates will give you essence stones. Okay, very important to remember that. Now, couple other things to note as well about gates. There's specific things you need to know. So blue gates here will drop mostly resources for armor enhancement and weapon enhancement. Purple gates will give you materials such as Mark of Times, plus the materials to level up or limit break your weapons to further enhance them from level 10 or level 20 to all the way to level 120. So that's what the purple ones are for. Yellow gates are specifically meant for gold farming. So if you're going to gold farm, make sure you do the yellow gates. And then red gates are going to be the ones that give you gear and higher end stuff. So ideally, depending what you're looking for, that's what you want. Now, quick little trick. If you're looking for a specific gate, you don't have to wait for all of them to pop up. Just rescan, click on it. It'll tell you exactly what gates are popping. Okay? So you guys can just not have to wait for all of them. Remember, again, S gates will give you essence stones. A gates will give you essence stones. Everything else in between you can skip if you're free to play without paying, but you won't get essence stones along the way when you mine them. Okay? Specifically mining. Now, a little trick for your dailies. Always leave 3 gates mined, okay? Or at least completed. So when you come in through your reset, one of the daily missions that you have to do every single day is right here. Complete 3 mining options. If you leave 3 of them available for the reset and 3, you can claim 3, that'll get this one out of the way. Now, going over to dailies and weeklies. Get these done every single time, guys. Do not miss these. They're a great, amazing way to get yourself essence stones and a great way to get yourself some gold. They've just recently upped the amount of gold these ones give, so you're going to be able to get yourself a lot more currency while you play the game. Never miss this. It's super, super important. Plus, a lot of these dailies and weekly missions will also give you the same rewards or the rewards you need to complete your dailies and weeklies for your guild missions. All right. So that's going to be how gates function. Make sure you do that. So first thing again, guys, story mode, normal, hard, complete it, get all your rewards along the way. This is going to be a great way to get yourself essence stones plus black tickets and other tickets along the way. Now, let's talk a little bit about that. Draws. This is going to be where you're going to summon all of your characters. All right. Now, a question every new player, returning player is going to ask, what is the team I should summon for? So first off, I want to say this. The safest team that'll get you across the most content, but is not the best team, but is still the safest team, there's two of them. There's the Wind team, which essentially covers Vulcan, Baron, Deimos is the only one that it doesn't cover. Deimos is the only one that it doesn't cover. But now you can skip Deimos and go straight to Yogamont. Okay, so if you can do Vulcan, Baron, and Yogamont and skip Deimos, because the reason why you skip Deimos is because Yogamont drops all the same cores and all the same items, plus you get the Remnant power. So Wind team is the safest team that you can use across all content. They're not the best team though. The best team in terms of damage overall is still going to be the Fire team, and the other best team is the Water team with the new Cha. So if you want to go for the new Cha, your best focus is going to be actually farming the Water team, but I wouldn't put the Water team like first, only because Baron, who is a critical part of your succession rate, is strong against Water. Okay, so keep that in mind. So I still say either go Wind team first or Fire team first, and then Water team as your other team. Especially when you get the Yogamont, Water team will do well, but Wind team right now is ultimately the best team, and that team is essentially going to be Mirai currently, right now, right? So I'll show you guys what the team is going to look like. This is what you want, all right? So let's go to the draw. It's going to be Goto. It's going to be Mirai. So this is what you want it to look like, all right? So you go Goto right here. You go Mirai. Where's Mirai at? Mirai, where are you? There she is. And then also Hansimi, aka what I call hands in my pants. All right, so that's right there. For weapon purposes, you can go Stormbringer, right? And then you can also put in the DKD, Demon King Daggers, for your Wind team or Wind succession. Or if you want to do Fire, you can do Fan and Phoenix Bow. Or if you want to do overall, like, usability, it's going to be the Moonshadow Daggers and the Plum Sword, okay? So those are the best weapons to choose from this list. But this is probably the safest and best team to get you across all content in the game, but not the best overall DPS team. Just keep that in mind. But what I mean by that is other content, such as doing it for Power of Destruction, which is a weekly thing that you do, and also doing things like the Guild Boss, which also depends on the element, right? So again, safest team for single player content is the Wind team, all right? So that's what you want to summon on when you get a chance. Now, while you're playing the game and you're going through it, a couple things you want to do. Number one, Battlefield of Trials. This is an amazing place to get yourself Essence Stones and a lot of currency. So definitely, guys, focus on this. There's two different types. There's the original type and the challenge. The challenge changes every 27 days or 28 days, and it will give you guys a ton of Essence Stones, right? And there's the player version and the hunter version. And then there's the original version of the Battlefield of Trials. This has 70 floors, and this will give you guys a ton of things, like black tickets for summoning, will give you guys mana power extracts, essence stones if you get yourself more of the trophies, and we'll talk more about trophies afterwards. So absolutely focus on this, guys. When you're done story mode and your EXP is capped and you can't go any further, this is where most of your focus is going to lie. Complete as much of this as you can, and it also counts towards your trophies. And again, we're going to talk about trophies very soon. While you're doing this, in order to gain more power, we'll talk more about power very shortly, you also want to do the game modes as the following: Encore missions and instances. Encore missions, there's always 2 bosses and they rotate I believe it's every week if I recall. And what they do, that's every week. And what they do is each boss will drop a certain set. They'll drop, for example, Cerberus here drops hands and feet, and then Forest here drops helmet and chest. Okay, and you guys can see the elemental weakness for each of these bosses. Plus they've now introduced something they've never had before, and that's artifact crafting, making it even easier to get artifacts. So you definitely want to do this until your keys expire, and you want to go between Encore missions and instances depending on what you need. Instances give you guys accessories. So very important, guys, to remember. This is the SJW fight, so Sun Jinwoo with hunters, and this is only hunters alone. Okay, so Encore missions, always hunters. As Sun Jinwoo, always, instances are always Sun Jinwoo. Always. All right, so remember that when you're doing this. So now that we've covered some of the basic stuff in regards to instances and all of the encores, make sure you always use your keys, guys. It's very important to farm as much artifacts as possible. Now, I did mention a brand new feature that just came out, which includes all of these 100 artifact recipes, 100 level 100 artifact recipes. This is something that's permanent now. So going forward, guys, we can actually now craft gear, which was something that was not around before. So whenever you do all of your farming, make sure eventually when you collect enough of this stuff, you can go and craft your gear and select 2 of your substats and 1 of your main stats using specific what items, right? So for example, if I go stat settings, I choose whatever I want for your main stat, and then from there you choose 2 of your substats as well using the items that are provided, which is called the luminous prisms. I think luminous prisms is what they're called. So for example, if I want this, I need these items in order to craft. So all of these things will drop in the instances in Encore, so more reason to even do it. So we'll cover this in a separate video. Make sure you go check that out, okay? Now, let's talk about weapons. Best SJW weapons to go for. There are going to be a few different combinations of weapons you absolutely want. So right now, the best weapons to choose, along with the best skills for SJW, is going to be the Stormbringer and DKD. This weapon here, these 2 weapons specifically, will take you the furthest in the game by far. By far. So put those 2 together as your main 2 weapons to choose from in your draw section for your weapons right here, and go ahead and get those. Now, if you plan to do a fire team and you rather use a fire build, you can still do that. It won't take you quite as far as these 2 weapons, but you can do the fan and the fire bow. Okay, and then for the most popular dark themed weapons, it's going to be the Moon Shadow daggers and the Plum Sword. Both of these weapons are called universal weapons and can be used throughout a combination with almost anything because of the buffs they provide. Okay, so these 2 are going to be your 2 universal weapons you absolutely must get to A5. And then lastly, if you are going to prepare for the future, there's a new water scythe coming on May 22nd, and you can use it with the Grimoire, which is going to be the other universal weapon, and this works really well. Now, if you want to go the light route, you can, of course, get yourself the Divine Quarterstaff, which is an incredibly powerful weapon in the game, but also does require you to use it with most likely a Golden Tail Fox, but can be combined with the Plum Sword as well. So those are going to be your best weapons for SJW. Now, when it comes down to your hunters, every hunter has a unique weapon that's associated to them, and when they equip that weapon, they will get the passives for that weapon. So for example, the new Cha, whenever she has this equipped, other units can use this weapon, but they won't get this passive, which is the most important part of every weapon. So you never really want to put someone else's weapon on someone else, just because the only thing they're going to get are the stats. What you care about is the passive that comes with it. So for example, for Cha here, her defense increases by 12% at A5. The user, when the Will of the Sword gauge's recharge effect activates, it triggers an effect that increases the user's defense by 6%, stacking up to 60 times. So this is a passive that's incredibly powerful and will only apply to her. So make sure, guys, when you are getting the weapons for your characters, you are crafting them for the characters you want to use, okay? Don't craft everyone's weapons. It's important to remember, if you plan to do end game content, you want all your characters to minimum be A5, that's advancement 5, as well as your weapons to advancement 5. This goes for Sun Jinwoo's weapons as well as the hunters. If you want to play casually and you're okay with doing like easy modes and normal modes, and you don't care about competing for the whale content, which free-to-play players can do, by the way, you guys are fine with going with A1 to A3 and just focusing on there. Okay, so that's what you want to do. Now, when it comes down to the ultimate teams, I already mentioned which ones to focus on. Now let's talk a little bit about power. Now, the Army of Shadows is where your Army of Shadows resides. Pretty straightforward, right? This is where your shadows are going to show your powers, their skills, the weapons they can equip, etc., right? So we're going to talk about this. Now, I want to say this absolutely clearly. This is one of the best ways to gain power in this game. The way power works, before I go into the Shadow Army, is there is a recommended power for every battle. All right, every battle has a recommended power. If you are exceeding that power and you're in the blue power, for example, let me just show you guys real quick. So let's say this battle here, this requires 1.19 million. If I click replay here, you can see I'm in the blue, right? When you're in the blue versus the recommended power, you are actually buffed. You're doing more damage. All your stats are increased, all right? When you are in the white and you hit the exact power level that is required or a little bit above, you're exactly at what your stats say. If you are in the red, okay, if you're in the red, so for example, I'm now currently even below the recommended power, your stats are going to be reduced slightly. When you're like this, right below, you're a little bit reduced. Now, if you are for some odd reason completely below and you're in the red, your stats are reduced to almost nothing. It's almost a 30% reduction penalty to all your stats. So one of the best ways to gain power, if you don't want to dupe all your characters, is to focus on your shadows. Your shadow gives an immense amount of power. So for example, any shadows I equip here will give me an additional power here. Look at the power scaling, right? It's pretty insane. Almost a 430k power scaling. Now, the reason why that is so important is your shadows may not give you stats, but they do increase your power level, so you're always able to compete against mobs pretty much in your range of storyline or WOBL or wherever, right? Without proper building of shadows, you're going to be underpowered and you're always going to struggle. So this is very important, guys. And this is why it's important to do extra gates with Essence Stones, because it gives you shadow energy. It gives you traces of shadows, allowing you to increase all of your units. Now, the best shadow in the game is still Encores. Then I'd say it's Beru and Serbi. Those are the three main shadows. Big shout out to Bestie as well too, and Iron, who do defense down and defense penetration here. Those are probably going to be your best ones. Big Rock is a pretty good one as well. Now, the way shadows work is when you equip them, there's something called the Shadow Authority. All right, so Shadow Authority essentially is the unit that you will get the main passive buff from. All right, so let's just say I'm doing a battle here. Right, let's just go back to this one again as an example. Whoever is in my first slot called the Shadow Authority, see a little crown there, we will get their buff. So this, for example, Encores gives all team members crit rate increase by 8%. Very important to remember that. Now, if I want to put Serbi in front, for example, I'll get crit damage increased by 8%. So it's important to remember the shadow that is first is the one that gives you the buffs, and then every other shadow associated here will do their skills and their passives, etc., but you won't get their leader buff. Okay, so remember that the first shadow is very important. So it's extremely important, guys, to unlock all your shadows. Number one, unlock all of them. Number two, to try to get each of them leveled up and accordingly, and then try to get them all to general. The moment you unlock general status for your shadows, it will also unlock their weapon, which in turn will give you a lot more power and gives them a lot more abilities to do damage as well, right? And each weapon has a specific attribute or skills that it offers as well too. So your goal is unlock every single shadow, guys, and then start working on your best shadows, get them up higher, and then slowly start giving other shadows a little bit more power. The reason why that's important is because every shadow now has skills, and as you level up the skills, your power will also increase per skill leveled up. Very, very, very important, okay? So if you want to know more about the shadows, go check out that guide. Now, one thing I do want to talk about next is going to be Remnant Power. This is where you will start collecting Baron and Yogamon fragments, and you will start gaining power from this too. Not only does it give you guys stats for specific classes and hunters and SJW as well as the shadows, but it also allows you to use whichever one you decide you want to use in the actual Workshop of Brilliant Light or anywhere in the game. When you equip them, you can summon them once per battle. They'll do a specific skill, and you guys can then take advantage of those folks. Now, the reason why it's important to do both is you will get the accumulation power of both of them. Each one of these guys gives you 50k power. So 50k here, 50k here, totaling 100k. So make sure, guys, you do this. Now, if you do decide to farm Yogamon first, and you've maxed them out, you can then trade your Yogamon extra fragments over for Baron fragments, and in June you'll be able to do vice versa. So keep that in mind. You guys can see all of these monarchs are eventually coming out, and we'll be getting more of them as they show up. Now, let's go over to artifacts. All right, weapons we covered. We're going to talk about artifacts. Now, I do have a full artifact video. So all artifacts can be leveled up to level 20. Once you get them to level 20, you'll increase stats randomly, and then you can enchant them as well by doing simulation. Simulation drops these books. You can enchant these further. And then if they're not level 100, let's say they're level 75 for some reason, let's find you guys one with level 75. Chaotic Infamy always starts at 100. You can then actually go ahead and reforge these by using these reforged stones that you get in instances and encores, allowing you to push your gear to level 100, which increases your main stat and your substats as well. Okay, so don't worry if you have old gear that you've been farming and it's great gear, you can actually level it up doing it this way. All right, very important. Now, a couple things to remember. If you are looking for the artifacts guide, I do have a full-on artifact guide on my channel. All you got to do is go to the live stream. There's actual there it is right there. It's a 2-hour video. I know it seems long, but we have somebody, shout out to My Hero Ultra, or My Ultra Hero, or My Hero Plus Ultra, I apologize, Nikita, who put actually the timestamps for every character. You guys can see that there. And if you are looking for Cha's newest gear and everything, I put out a video this morning, which is all about Cha. Here you go, best sets, best test results, and of course, cores, etc. Right? Speaking of cores, I do have a full core video also right over here, the Ultimate Core Guide, which is up to date with all the newest hunters. And then again, Cha's is covered right here as well. So cores, artifacts, guys, on the channel, super easy to find. Just take a look. It's a no-brainer, and I fully cover it with timestamps on both videos. All right, so make sure you check that out if that's what you're looking for. Then that takes care of these two right here. Draw system we talked about already. The shop. Let's talk about the shop. As a pay-to-win player, your main goal is to get the subscriptions. Buy the subscriptions. They're the best part of the game, and it's super important to get these because, number one, they allow you to have extra summons. So you get 30 extra summons per month. From the special summon section right there, you guys can see it. You get special login bonuses every day. You get free auto mining plus artifact inventory expansions, which is big, and you can hold double the keys. And on top of that, if you get yourself the monthly bundles, you can also do the mining, as we mentioned, from A to S for free without having to do them manually. You get more multiplays on various game modes, and you also get essence stones and other things like gold and more idle EXP. So this is the fastest way to level up. These are the best packages you can buy in the game. But if you're free to play, you want to avoid it, don't worry too much about it. As free to play, you're going to log in and just do your usual collection of red dots, whatever's for free, and then you're always going to go down to the exchange shop section, which is the free-to-play section of the game, and then you're going to collect whatever you can from here. Usually you go to the mana crystal exchange. Once your mining is over, you will collect your advanced crystals and everything else that you're looking for from here, and this is where most of your focus is going to lie. All right, so just so you guys are aware, this is a very, very critical part for all free-to-play players and pay-to-win players, so you want to clear out the shop as much as you possibly can on a daily basis if possible. Okay, so this is going to be a big one. Proof of the Strong, whenever you start getting to that point of the game and you start doing Proof of the Strong content, they will give you guys these tokens which you can exchange for various rewards. Feel free to do that. And then Battlefield of Time, of course, as you rank, you'll get yourself Battlefield of Time tokens, which will give you guys draw tickets, custom draw tickets, abyssal crystals, traces of shadows. Your main focus in the beginning is going to get all the rate up tickets to boost up your characters and anything related to your shadow. So very important, guys, to make sure you do this. And then lastly, there's some events that happen. For example, the rock, paper, scissors event going on right now. You'll be using all the currency here to get all the resources available to you from there. Now, if you are a pay-to-win player, you can also get yourself coupons very, very often in this game, which gives you big discounts on the actual game or in the actual game itself, giving you more freedom to buy things at a cheaper cost. All right, but of course, if you are planning to spend, guys, as usual, please spend responsibly. All right, another part that you're going to do always is when you start the game, you're going to do these challenges. These challenges will give you guys a ton of various things in the game, like gold, essence stones, enhancements, etc. More importantly, once you finish the challenge, they're going to give you custom draw tickets, 10 every single time. So you guys can see you can get up to 400 draws just from doing these challenges. Always refer back to these. Make sure you're keeping up with them, guys, and try to get them done as soon as possible. One thing I will say, things like if there's like a mining one down here or like finish a gate one, try to finish the one above it and get down to that one before you do your gates. Very important because they won't count unless you're actually on that mission. That's a big one, okay? Keep that in mind. So challenges, very important. We've talked about missions. This is your daily weeklies. Always do those. It's a no-brainer. It takes you like 20, 30 minutes a day. Achievements, a fantastic way to get yourself a lot of tickets, a lot of essence stones, and gold. So go through these, see which ones matters, which ones you can do, and try to get these done. Don't underestimate achievements, all right? They're very, very big in regards to what you can get in terms of currency. Very important, okay? Codex is another one that's pretty important. Again, great way to get yourself essence stones. The more you collect in the game, the more you achieve in the game, the more gold, artifacts, enhancements, weapon enhancements, plus essence stones that you can get. Again, pretty straightforward, nothing really to talk about. Manage presets. This is a cool one. This allows you to actually set up presets for specific weapons, skills, armor, teams that you want to build, and that way you can just click on that team and it'll automatically activate it when next time you do a battle. You can do it for a player and hunter and the guild boss as well too. So set that up however you need, guys. Do it by element, do it by weapons, do it by armor, and Bob's your uncle. You can essentially copy it, edit it, etc. Do whatever you need to do. This is a great way to organize yourself and see what units you want to use more than others. So that's the preset system. We have ourselves bonding. Now bonds, the more you collect units, the more you level them up, the more you advance them, you will get rewards for it. You can get yourself black tickets here, which are custom tickets. You can get yourself gems. We'll talk more about gems soon. You get yourself crafting materials, gold, essence stones, etc. So it's super, super important, guys, to collect. But as a free-to-play player, don't make that your focus. You should not be getting all the characters. Focus on 1 or 2 teams maximum. Get those guys maxed out, and then do your collecting along the way. They'll all show up, guys, as you play the game. It's nothing to rush. Don't be a collector. It's the worst thing you can do in this game. All right, crafting. If you are looking to craft weapons, material, growth material, equipment growth, shadow growth, craft weapons for SJW or your hunters, this is the place to do it. You're going to require specific material in order to do that. Just click on the weapon you're looking for, collect what's required, and you can move on. Very straightforward system, easy to understand. And again, if you want to know what to collect, I have a weapon tier list. I have a hunter tier list. You guys can check that out. You know what teams you want to go for, do it from there. All right, the fusion system. This is where you will get yourself the skill ruins and blessing stones and gems. All right. Once you start collecting these rune fragments, these blessing stone powders, and these gems, you can then convert them into heroic and legendary versions, and then eventually to mythic. So this is where you're going to do a lot of your crafting for your skills, as well as your legendary sets for your blessing stones, as well as your skills, and as well as your gems. So very important, guys, to focus on that as well. There is a gacha related, it's random, but eventually once you hit the pity, you will get higher end versions of the skills you're looking for. And again, it is random. You can't choose, but you'll eventually get to the point where you'll collect it all, okay? So dispatch mining team, we've talked about this. This is where you do your advanced mining. Make sure you do it every single time you finish a mine. And then, of course, right over here, special commissions. Now, as you play the game, not including story mode, but once you do gates, simulation, Battlefield of Chaos, whatever the case may be, you will be defeating these monsters. As you defeat these monsters, you'll get essence stones for defeating a certain amount of them, and as you defeat a certain amount, you'll get points, and those points in the bottom here will convert into more rate up tickets. So great way to collect yourself free essence stones and rate up tickets as you play the game. The armory, big one. All right, this is another way to gain power. You guys can see my armory gives me 189k power. So essentially what happens is when you are collecting weapons or gaining weapons in the game, you'll unlock these armory slots, which you then can level up. And as you level up these armory slots, weapons will automatically go in here as the most powerful weapons. Dupes matter up to A5. Weapon levels matter more. So the higher level weapons that are sitting in your armory, the more power you will get from them. And you can currently push them to plus 10, which is brand new. It used to be plus 7. My advice to you guys as new players is unlock as many of these slots as you can using essence stones early on. But when you get to the second page, you can then start using mark of times to unlock them. You will need a lot of marks of time in order to level up these from 1 till 10. You guys can see I have 25 out of 70. Need to get more of these in order to get it done. So this is a fantastic way to get the job done in terms of power. But remember, they're automatically placed in here. SSRs take priority. SRs will come second, and then rares come third. I have a full armory video on this. You guys can check it out about shadows and this and how it affects your whole account. Make sure you guys check that video out on the channel, of course. All right. Now, Hunter Preview. This one, just do it anyways, teaches you how to use the hunter, but every single hunter preview you do, you'll get yourself a rate up ticket, including some other gold and some more skill ruins, etc. Get these done, guys. These are super, super easy, and it's just free summons for you to get along the way. And teaches you how to use the character. So very easy. Definitely do that one for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Battle tier. This is going to be the highest tier of your battle. You guys can see I have 1812161. I'm almost into the next battle tier. As you progress through the game, the more battle tiers you hit, the more things you unlock. Plus you get 300 essence stones and 10k gold every time you do that. Plus this is the combination of your best characters with their best possible gear that the game has chosen to put together. It doesn't mean it's what you have when you play the game. It's just what the game sees internally and prioritizes as your main characters, including your cores, equipment, the weapons, plus your dupes. Okay? Very important to remember that this is going to play a major role in your game, so make sure you focus on getting that up. And then what else do we have here? We have the skill research. This is how you convert your legendaries into mythics, and how you get mythic skill ruins and blessing stones. This is way too far into the game for you guys. When you get here, I have a guide on it. Go check it out. Right now, nothing you really need to focus on. It's too far in. Gems. All right. This is something you'll unlock after finishing chapter 13, I believe, or 15. This is going to be a big part of your growth in power. There are a couple different colors of gems. You guys can see red, blue, green, yellow, and purple, each of them giving you different things. So purple, for example, focuses on MP and additional MP, mana reductions and speed. The greens focus on additional defense, defense percentage, and damage reduction. Red is your attack, additional attack percentage, or your healing increase. Blue is your HP percentage, additional HP and healing increase. And then lastly, the orange ones or yellow ones, whatever you want to call them, is precision, defense penetration, and crit damage. Check out the video I made for gems. It's still absolutely relevant, and this is a big part of your growth in your power. This will affect both Sun Jinwoo as well as your hunters. Okay, so again, a full-on guide on the channel on what to focus on. I don't want to go dive too deep into this because you guys can find all that information there. Challenge medals, this is more aesthetics, just the things you accomplish. They'll give you little medals, you can equip them. Again, there's no actual power gain there. Costume index, the costumes you collect. Costumes have no impact on stats. They're just completely cosmetic as well, so there's no pay to win aspect there. The forums, you can click on that anytime. Tutorial, just do this just to collect yourself a little bit of the essence stones that come along with it. They'll give you 10 essence stones per one of these that you've gone through. Just click the arrow like this nonstop. Literally, and you'll get 10 essence stones across the board. It's super easy to do. It takes you like 5 minutes, really. All right, so that completes the entire section here. Now, in this right-hand section, your mailbox, this is where you're gonna get all of your free stuff from the devs or things you collect or from codes. Again, make sure you support me to get yourself some free codes. This is your inventory box. This is where all of your items are collecting, so make sure you go check that out. Sometimes you get free weapons, like this one, for example, right? Which allow me to choose my weapon of choice here, or you'll get yourself like a free SSR Hunter that's coming along the way soon, which you'll be able to collect, or you can open up boxes like this, which lets you choose your cores or armor, etc. So very important, guys. Check out that section. Battle passes. This is huge. Free-to-play players, this is massive for you because you get a lot of free rewards on the top ones. Pay-to-win players, this is huge for you as well because if you decide to buy the premium or deluxe packs, you get even more. These are some of the best values in the game. Absolutely get them done. Check out what's required here in terms of missions. Do them every single day, guys. The daily missions, the weekly missions, get them all done and collect all these free, amazing rewards. This game is one of the most generous games out there, and you'll notice that when you start playing, okay? So super important there. This is your login information, or I guess your check-in information. Whenever you log in, you get something free every single day. You guys can see this is all the free stuff that's coming for us in this month of the anniversary. And then, of course, every single time you get a 28-day check-in. Just so you guys are aware, every 7 days you get 5 free summons. Every 21 days to 28 days, you get 10 free summons plus some free essence stones along the way. So make sure you do that. And then lastly over here, guys, we have the events tab. This is where you're going to have all the fun stuff happening, where you get a lot of free things. So make sure you're always doing every single event that's available on a daily basis, guys. Sounds daunting, but once you start getting the hang of things, it's super easy to start rolling. For example, right now they're giving us a free SSR weapon, a wind weapon, all the way to A5. They're giving us a free hunter to choose from right here, all the way up to Goto, which, yes, I know a lot of you guys were Soren's not here. She was actually in the test build, but they decided to remove her. That's what they always say, things can change, right? Free SSR weapon here for hunters, and free SSR weapon over here for SJW. So you guys can see a lot of great choices, guys, for you right now during the anniversary. Plus you get yourself a mythic, that's right, a mythic selection chest. Pretty damn crazy, guys. So make sure you jump on right now and get this done. Now, a couple more things I want to talk about before I let you go here. Some other modes that you want to focus on. Battlefield of Chaos. Do these on a daily basis. Get your tickets out of the way. I have a full guide on this. Essentially, they open up 2 different slots every single day of the type of gems you can collect. The higher you go, the better, all right? Always try to get 3 stars, and I'll talk about trophies before I end this video because that is an important part as well. So that's how you get your gems. Battlefield of Time, this is the quote-unquote leaderboard PvP aspect of the game where you try to beat people in your server with doing better times than them. You guys can see I'm 3rd place this month for mine free-to-play, and these guys are 1st and 2nd. They give you different bosses. You can watch different guides. There's a ton of them. Plus, there's a challenge mode over here, which allows you to do different little mini bosses and arena fights where you can collect yourself free things as you do them. Do them all the time. Every week, guys, you should be doing those for sure, okay? Those are the Battlefield of Time, very important part of the game. Guild boss, once you join a guild, you'll be able to do a boss. You collect rewards. There's a guild shop where you can exchange the rewards you get for specific items over here. And again, this resets, I believe, weekly as well. Things that are important here, of course, is the free you can get an A10 spear, an SSR weapon for free. You can get skill rune, transcendent stone chests. You can get yourself free keys. You can get yourself shadow things, gate keys, WOBL tickets for more WOBL, mana power extracts, etc. This is a big part of the game, guys. Make sure you join a big guild. If you are looking for a guild and you're a veteran player, please remember my guilds, I have like 10 of them, are always looking for members, good members. So join the Discord and check out the guild section, the recruitment section specifically, in terms of who we're looking for and you may actually fit in. So that's an important one as well, okay? So that's the guild boss. And then over here, we have Power Destruction. As mentioned, this is a weekly fight against Inoue, which gives you 2 different recommended elements. As you fight, you'll get a ranking, and then every single week, you'll get rewards for doing those rankings. So you guys can check out my guides on this as well, too, or other content creators' guides that if you are interested in that, of course. Workshop of Brilliant Light. This is the end game content where you fight the right-hand man of Monarchs and the Monarchs themselves. And this is where you're going to spend most of your time collecting cores and a lot of your builds are going to be revolved around this. So this is where you'll fight that, and this has some of the highest end power fights in the game. So for example, the brand new Yogamon here is 1.2 million to 1.25 million. I've completed it already on my free to play. We're waiting for hard mode now, and this is something you're going to do on a weekly basis, and you absolutely want to focus on this. And most people, if you're like me, are going to care about that mode more than anything else. All right, and then lastly, guys, the simulation gate. This is a gate which will, at the beginning, give you a ton of essence stones and those books that I showed you guys, right? As you play simulation gate, you're going to fight various different stages, collect different codes, which will give you different skills and passives you can use, and then you collect these books here, which you can enchant your gear with. Again, I have a lot of simulation guides you guys can go check out on the channel. Feel free to do so. I'll put some of the more important videos in the description of this video as well. So feel free, guys, to jump on there and check out those videos as well too that relate to some of these topics. All right, guys. I think we've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to cover. I've got a couple return guides already, or new player guides. They're all very, very relevant. This is the most recent one, obviously, so make sure you do that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, every week we have these things called trophies, right? Collect these trophies. The more trophies you collect, the more essence stones you'll get every single week. For example, right now, every week on my free-to-play account, and I'm first on my server, I get myself 1,500 essence stones by completing all the trophies. Make sure you collect trophies for everything. Everything pretty much has trophies. All your reverse modes, all your story modes, all your hard modes, everything has trophies. You guys can see how many trophies you've collected and what the percentage is of each one of these. Reverse mode will eventually unlock for you. Just so you guys are aware, reverse mode does not give experience points, okay? But it gives you a ton of shadow stuff. So it's a very important one to make sure you focus on. There's a normal and a hard mode. And you also get trophies from things like Battlefield of Trials, right? So these trophies will count as well. 209 out of 210, right? You guys can see here 201 out of 210. And then there are things like your Encore missions and instances will also give you trophies. You guys can see how many you've collected there. One thing I want to talk about real quick. You don't have to do, in the beginning, you'll have to do 1, 2, 3, all the way to 30. Once you've completed one boss to 30 and the next one rolls over, you don't have to do 1 to 30 again. You can jump straight to 30 and kill that boss, and it'll give you all the rewards from the past that you would have normally gotten, okay? Just a heads up on that. All right, guys, there you guys have it. That's pretty much the video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.